In this week's On My Shelf, I highlight some of my favorite poets, a book full of practices that help eliminate stress and worry, the challenge of parenting twins, how reading widely helps me become a better writer, and a very entertaining audiobook series. I've mentioned before that I really enjoy reading poetry. I read a whole lot of it. Poetry is the thing that I carry with me to the grocery store, so that I can pull it out and read a poem when I'm standing in line. It's what I read when I'm walking to pick up my boys from school. It's what I read when I'm waiting for my boys to finish cleaning up so we can have lunch together. I love it because it's short, and you can read a poem in less than 5 minutes, which is important when you're a parent. Poets have a way of writing about the world that is deep and lovely and true. They help me to see things from another perspective. They bring clarity to life. They show the relationship between things I never noticed before. They are masters of language. And because of all of this, not only do I try to read at least one poem a day, usually more, but I recommend that everyone read at least one poem a day. Poetry gets down deep. It changes our hearts so we can see all of the beauty around us, even in the smallest of things. If you want to learn how to appreciate every single moment of life, pick up some poetry. Some of my favorite poets include the classics like W. H. Auden and Rainer Maria Rilke and John Keats. But I've also discovered some really talented contemporary poets like Mary Oliver and Edward Hirsch and Maury Creech. Some of my favorite books by these poets include A Thousand Mornings by Mary Oliver, The Living Fire by Edward Hirsch, and Gabriel, also by Edward Hirsch. They write in very different ways, but they are phenomenal at their craft. I recently finished a book called 52 Small Things You Can Do for Your Mind by Brett Blumenthal. I've been on a journey for a couple of years to understand the inner workings of the mind, because I tend to not only worry a whole lot about pretty much everything, but I also feel stressed a lot of the time, which some might say is because I have 6 boys. So I picked up this book in my local library because it looked interesting, and while most of the practices that Blumenthal talks about were things I already do on a regular basis, I did learn a few things, like how research shows that people who spend their money on things like experiences are much happier than people who spend their money on things, and how rewarding ourselves for really hard things, which I rarely ever do, helps us try to do hard things more consistently. The book got me thinking about a lot of different places in my life where I know the right thing to do, but I just haven't made the effort. So I was spurred into action, and I think any person who reads would feel the same. It's hard to believe that 4 years ago I gave birth to twins. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. Most of parenting is, but I think it's even more so for parents of twins. You know, raising a kid is really hard, and then you add 2 at a time, and it's nearly impossible. My twins are probably the most difficult parenting challenge I've ever been given, and my husband and I have fought our way through these first 4 years to try to get out on the other side in a place that's healthy and kind and well bonded to our twins. When they were born, it was really difficult to see them as 2 people because they were a unit. They're still a unit. But we're trying more and more to see them as individuals because even though they're identical, they have their own personalities and quirks and feelings. I don't have this parenting twins thing figured out, even though I'm 4 years in. I don't think I'll ever have it figured out, mostly because parenting is hard. But I try my best, and I love, and that's enough. People sometimes ask me why I make so much time to read. And it's true. I read a lot. It's not easy because I'm the mother of 6 boys, but I read to my kids, and I read books we all enjoy. I listen to audiobooks on trips. I sit in the darkness of my room when kids are already in bed and my husband doesn't need me for anything, and I make my way through the pile of books on my nightstand. I read because it makes me a better writer, but I also read because it's enjoyable. It engages my mind and makes me think and opens new worlds for me. Reading is almost like meditation. I get lost in story, and I learn to tell better stories, but I also learn to hear other stories, which, in a weird way, makes me a better listener of other people. There are so many benefits to reading, not just for children, but for us as adults. And as a writer, I should be reading all the time, because I can go to school and study all the right methods and gain all the knowledge I could possibly want. But until I am immersing myself in reading, until I'm exploring subjects that are foreign to me, until I'm opening up new worlds at the turn of a page, I will not reach my true potential as a writer. It sounds crazy. You think that to become a better writer, you just have to write more. But I found that to become a better writer, I have to read more. Reading helps me practice writing in a more effective way. And when I'm practicing writing the correct way, that's when I get to improve. That's where reading gets me. I've been listening to The Hero's Guide to Storming the Castle by Christopher Healy on audiobook. This story, which is hilariously written, is read by narrator Bronson Pinchot, and it is one of the best audiobooks, besides Harry Potter, that I've ever listened to. Pinchot reads all of these characters in different voices and uses amazing accents to differentiate them, and it's just a riot to listen to this book. Reading it is entertaining enough, but Pinchot provides a theatrical quality to the words that bring the story alive. I find myself laughing out loud in some places. It's a very entertaining listen, as is the first book in the series, The Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom. For more about me or my books, sign up for my email newsletter, where I share an inside look at life and the projects I'm working on and the current novel of the year. If you have any questions about writing or books, or how I managed to run a writing career with 6 little ones, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them in future episodes. For more on my shelf, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.